Hello, this is a short feedback video for your contributions to the topic of the week, what I like about my job. Let's get started. As a physical therapist, I love helping my patients to understand that having a temporary disability is an opportunity to appreciate our body and all we can do with it. Okay, that's fine, except for the use of all here. I'd be more inclined to use everything. So I'm just going to cross it out and add everything. And just to explain this in a clearer way than I can just by speaking, let me just show you this. You can see that all is usually used as a determiner, which means that it's part of a noun phrase. All the time, all the books, whereas everything is a pronoun. And as a pronoun, it can stand alone. He ate all the food on his plate. He ate everything on his plate. We put all our bags. After all comes a noun, right? All the music. So here, everything is a better option. Everything we can do. In the other hand, we say in English, on the other hand. On the other hand, my patients who have a permanent disability learn how to live with it, and I like to find out with them all the things they can do. Instead of focusing on, we focus on what they cannot. Well done. This is a good sentence. I have to admit it is a challenge. Oh, I have to admit it is a challenge every particular case. You see, here this doesn't sound as natural as it could. We might say something like, I have to admit that every particular case is a challenge. Yes, so here I'm just going to cross this out. I have to admit that every particular case is a challenge. But when I realize all the achievements along the sessions, I am grateful about my job. Okay, when I realize, when I look at perhaps, or when I see all the achievements along the sessions. Yes, I'm not so sure about realize. I think that we might use a different verb when I see or when I look back at all the achievements, and then along the sessions also might be something like all the achievements. Yes, I'm grateful for my job. Okay, but overall, this is a great text. Thank you very much for your contribution. Moving on, I decided to study journalism because I had the idea I could change Mexico and present information that sometimes is hide. Okay, so this is a passive form, and in order to create the passive form, we need the verb to be and then the past participle of the verb, which in the case of hide is hidden. And when you hide something, you hide it from somebody. So this is the wrong preposition. We need from. During my degree, I learned that news media have conflicts of interest. You mean perhaps this is a word order, media, news. And news is an uncountable noun, even though it looks like it's plural. It isn't plural, it's just uncountable. And with uncountable nouns, we use the singular form, so has conflicts of interest. Remember that with jobs, I'm a teacher, I'm an architect, I'm a community manager, just one N. Manager for a radio program. One of the things I like is when we give tickets for the theater and the people thank us. Great. Thank you very much. Let's move on to the next one. I'm a biologist, currently enrolled on a PhD program in Mexico. I've spent the last 3 years working on the dry forest in western Mexico. Wouldn't it be in? It depends on what you mean with working. I'll put, oh, I see, you're not actually there. Okay, so if you're working on, if you're working on, you must be working on a project, perhaps. A project, working on a project about, because if you just say working on the dry forest, that means that you're actually there. I mean, working on is something, a work in progress, a project or something like that. So I've spent the last 3 years working on a project about the dry forest in western Mexico, where I've collected data about ecological requirements for, or the ecological requirements of birds of prey. Yes, so specifically the requirements. The best part of what I do is to be in contact with nature, to travel and to observe things in the field that nobody has seen before. This would need a capital letter because it comes after a full stop, but it's a detail. It feels really good when transmitting knowledge related to your own findings, or, oh, I'm sure this is just a typo. You meant experience, no doubt. That's great. Oops, hang on. Oh, I'm just going to cross out this and write the E. That's great. But without crossing it out. No. Great. Thank you very much. Moving on. I study translation, and I think it's a noble profession because you can explode. You probably mean exploit, not explode, because a bomb explodes, and when you exploit, it means that you take advantage of everything that something has to offer. So exploit, and here we have the problem of all again. So it's not all you know, but everything you know. Again, if you want to look for the difference, I mean, as far as meaning is concerned, all and everything mean exactly the same thing, but learning how to use them, a good thing to do in this case is to look for exercises online where they give you the answers at the end. You can help the world by translating from one language to another. For example, you can help migrants, save lives. When you translate a medicine or chemical handbook, you can translate a movie, an art exhibition perhaps. Exposition, I'm not sure that that's correct, but exhibition certainly is. Oh, oh, aha. Oh, there we go. A brochure, a cookbook, or great works from Marx, Hegel, Foucault, Dickens, Gunter Grass, Shakespeare, etc. It's a serious work. It's a serious work. I wonder what you mean here by it's a serious work, or it's just serious work, because work is uncountable. It's a serious job, but serious work, which needs knowledgeable. Here we need the adjective and not the noun. So knowledge, knowledgeable. I'm not sure we spell it like this. Hang on. Yes, we do spell it like this. Knowledgeable. People who have knowledge. Many people don't see this, but that's what you know that this is a capital, right? I'm sure you do. What I like about translating, not from, but about. About translating. And then here you might use like a colon or a dash or some kind of punctuation. You help people to comprehend. Perhaps here comprehend is okay. I mean, it's a word we use in English. It exists. I'm just crossing it out because perhaps you just mean understand. Comprehend is fine, but understand is more it's just a word that would come more naturally in the context of everything else. For example, up here you're saying you know, and for example, so this is quite a chatty tone that you're using, and comprehend is more kind of higher level, more formal, and so I think understand is a better option of a word for this section here, and learn what is not in their mother language. Mother language, mother tongue, or native language. Let's change mother for native. Or first. First language is best. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on. I develop computer systems like web pages and so on, but one of the main reasons why capital, it's very pedantic, but I would never write I in lowercase. So I'll just do this for you. Like my job, sorry, let me just go back. But one of the main reasons why, not way, I know that you probably meant why, but we write it like this. Why I like my job is, we don't need for here, my colleagues, because together we're an amazing team. Great. All of them are very committed and care about sharing. Not to share. Care about sharing their knowledge. So after caring about, care about, we need the ing form of the verb. And knowledge is an uncountable noun, and so we won't pluralize. and we need a D here to spell it correctly. So their knowledge with the new ones. I'm glad to be, we don't need of here, I'm glad to be surrounded. Be surrounded because this is a passive form. And when we have the passive form of the verb, we need the past participle. In this case, it's a regular verb, and so surrounded is the past participle of the verb surround. By clever co-workers who teach me, this is an adverbial phrase of frequency. That's going to come at the end. It's just word order in English. Who teach without the E. Teach me something new, and this is where our phrase goes, every day. Okay, so I'm glad to be surrounded by clever co-workers who teach me something new every day. I, capital I, feel proud to belong to these to this, because team, you're using team in the singular, and this then needs to be singular as well. These is for a plural noun. This is for a singular noun, like team. And I hope this is like writing without accents, or I can be able. Okay, so can and be able are both modals, and so we can't use them together. I hope let's remove be able, but just know that we would say, if you're going to use be able, we need to conjugate be for I. Yes, not I be, but I am. So I hope I am able. But we'll leave can. The meaning is the same. Can and be able have the same meaning. They're both modal verbs, so we don't use them together. I can. Okay, so to get such a huge experiences. See, here you're using the article for a singular noun and experiences in the plural, so that we cannot do. But what you're trying to say is that I hope I can become as experienced as my colleagues already are. So I'm just going to correct it for you because this video is already much longer than I intended. So, and I hope I can obtain as much experience, or I can become as experienced. I think I like that better. We'll put this in bold. Become as experienced as my colleagues already are. Okay? Because you are experienced. You have experience, but you become experienced. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you to everybody who contributed to this topic of the week. See you soon.